order. Department head comments, Commissioner Meese.
Got several things here to go through. I'm just going down the list here, so there's no particular order. This is the newest thing that came up. Nick Sauter called in yesterday. On the sewage board appointments, he said that he knew that the board had Clutter look at it, I think. And he said that it was 2 council appointments on their board, but another section of that, he sent it to Cindy, so Cindy has a copy of that. It says that if a municipality is involved with the discharge, handling the discharge, then you have to have 1 appointment from the council, 1 from the commissioner. I don't mind just doing that, but I just need to know who you've got involved. You got in mind for that. We can appoint you wherever you need to do that.
Yeah, we've pretty well at this point, I think, because that's all partially a product of my investigation. To get into the lucrative office.
Yes, what it was.
Yeah.
And so it can't be one of us.
Section of that. It actually can, because
can.
later on in the next section of that piece of code says that it can be an elected official representing the district.
Okay. Well, let us know what you
And
need.
so at this point, we have, of course, now our 2 appointments were set up. That one was an open one, and the other one has to be a resident landowner. Now, which one of those is going to transfer to you guys, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But right now, it's Matt Helpman and Katie Potter. And Potter will be the resident landowner, and we separated them between Marshall and Bloomingdale.
Okay. Just let us know who you have in mind. And
Well, that's the 2.
I'm sure they'll go along with that. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I can't imagine them having their own. They'll be relieved that you have somebody in mind. Highway superintendent, we kind of talked about that a minute ago before we started, but we receive applications and resumes until Friday end of day, so we should have some idea of what we're looking at and the number we're looking at by Monday at our meeting, and then we'll go through that list, and then we'll begin to schedule appointments after that to have interviews. The CDL program with 7 of our drivers is underway. We talked about that we will pay for that out of the highway funds, and then after 6 months we'll be reimbursed by the state. And Nancy Inman from Work One was at a meeting I was at yesterday, and she confirmed all of that. So we have 7 going for their Class B CDLs. We will have not yet, but we will have contracts with the workers on that pro-rata scale, that if you stay the 3 years, you don't have to pay anything for it. If you leave before that, then there'll be a prorated amount that you'll have to pay back to the system. Same thing we've done in the past. Only in the past, I think it was 2 years. Talking with Dan Collin the other day, there are going to be some upcoming major repairs on a couple of covered bridges that are going to be costly to do. I just want to make you guys aware of that. I don't know how much is in the covered bridge fund now, but it may be enough, it may not be enough, but I just want you to know we're probably talking significant dollars. I'm not talking millions, but significant costs on some major repairs on at least a couple of the covered bridges that he sees coming up. And we talked about the joint invoice already, so if it's okay, and if Nick's okay with that too, that invoice that Susan can bring to, if she will, to our meeting, I will, and we've already approved that, and we will put in the minutes too that we're approving that and treating this as a contract, and I will write on there that approved as contract and sign it, and maybe that will meet our obligations for the ARP money by the end of the year. Don Pruner's in the hospital again. He's got the fluid buildup. He'll probably be there a couple more days. Kay is keeping things running, of course. He still monitors everything from his phone as he can, and if there were problems, he would be aware of those. But Sam and I have been talking. There are some window issues in the probation office that I was aware of. I've not seen them. Don has. And we're probably going to have, but if you recall, it's been before me, so it's been more than 22 years that those windows were replaced. You guys may remember better than I what year that was, but that's when Jennifer Hayes things, and they had to save all the windows and put them in the attic, and they had all those fights for all that time. That's all gone now. But it's been a long time since the windows have been in, but again, I haven't seen them. Sam certainly has. It's not the windows that's the issue, it's the frames around the windows, so we may have to look at having eventually all, but certainly several of those window framing replaced, and then the windows replaced back in.
So they're leaking air, is that what they're doing? They're leaking?
You can see through.
The elements
Just,
it's getting worse and worse.
So we need to address that this summer then.
can you wait that, can you wait till summer? If it's that bad. Like,
Well, Jim can look at it tomorrow or maybe today. Anyway, but yeah, they need to be looked at right away.
Yeah.
For
But we don't want it to get worse than,
We could probably mitigate the air and the moisture coming in, something ugly on the inside, just to keep that, whether it be some kind of patch or caulk or something, but they're gonna have to be fixed.
The one that is facing west in front of Rusty's desk is definitely, I think, sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And the one behind Lexi's desk too.
Okay, we'll look at those and see what we need to do. It's one of those things you hate to be taking out a window in the middle of the winter when it's winter temperatures if you can avoid it. So if we can,
Band-Aid, it sounds
Yeah.
like pretty bad.
they are, so we're gonna look at that, so that'll be a cost. I don't have much in the way of good news for you, with cost stuff coming today as we're going. Don will be coming back, but that does bring it, and Don and I have talked about this many times. Don always anticipated staying as long as I stayed. That was kind of an agreement we had. I didn't want to have to hire a new guy, and he is very confident in what he's done. He's learned so much over the years on how the system works. But he's older than me too, and so he's going to have to go at some time. But we had always talked, in fact, we talked with you before, about we planned to hire someone probably 6 months before Don's retirement time, so we can spend the time with him and then learn how to do that and then move on. Whether that be Kay or not, I don't know. He thinks Kay can do that job okay, and I have no opinion on that. I think Kay's very competent. So I don't know what her interests are. I don't know what her level of skill is. I just don't know those things yet. But we may have to look at hiring someone earlier than we anticipated. I've got 2 more years left on mine, so that means Don probably had 2 more years left, and that's what we were looking at. But health-wise, and it's nothing for sure, but his health may require we do look at that earlier. So I don't know how you fund that stuff or how that comes about, how you do that, but we may have to look at doing that on an earlier stage than we had timed on before. He's doing okay. I went down to see him the day he was admitted. He went to the emergency room, he got admitted, went down that morning, looked fine. His wife was there, and he looked good. He put on several pounds of fluid that had to come out, and that's what they're working on then. Chiller will be replaced, but still the plan is for April. That's always been the plan, to replace that this April. And Sam and I were talking also, sometimes in his area, it'd be in the 60s, and you'll email or call Don, and Don will look, and Don say, no, according to his computer here, it's 70-something in there, and it's clearly not 70-something. So whether that be sensors in there that need to be recalibrated or worked at, but that's news to me. I had not seen that discrepancy between those things, so it can only be a sensor. So we're going to, maybe when they come to do the chiller, we'll have to look at them recalibrating or checking out all those sensors as well. Got the window work here. We're also going to add some more electrical outlets in the probation. This old building does not have enough electrical outlets for the new things that come along. Plus they have some machines there that need to be addressed. So we are, instead of just sending 1 new circuit in there, we're going to send 2 new circuits in there. We can attach the electric in the attic and come down over the ceiling and down into the probation office from that to mount those circuits. So we'll do 2 when we do that. And I think that's all I've got. We have getting ready to go with the new community parking grant. We will do that the way it needs to be done. We actually can do $2 million on our application for a community crossing. It was one of the difficulties that Randy always had. At $1.5 million, we can create a $2 million project, and they will reimburse us for the $1.5 million. The other 25% is our match on that. So instead of turning in $1.5 million, we'll turn it in $2 million. We are looking at doing, and we talked about this last year as well, Marshall Road all the way from the Rockville line to 47 to Marshall, and then on the other side of Marshall pick up Road 47. Looking at Strawberry Road from the prison, because it was done to the prison last year, go from the prison. Then we have a couple options here depending on the length and the money. The goal is to get from Strawberry Road from the prison to 10 o'clock road, 10 o'clock road to 500. The extras on that would be to take Strawberry Road all the way to Coloma Road, which is only about another half a mile or so, 4/10 I think. But if that's too much miles, we would cut that out. And then the other that we would like to do, that we could cut that out to, is continue 10 o'clock road from 500 to Towpath Road, past Don Gardner's house there. That's not too bad a shape now, but of course it's going to be. If we're going to do that stretch, it'd be cheaper to have them do that now than instead of come back in a couple of years and do it later. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the path that we're looking at and going on the last time. And I think that's, Highway Department is looking at purchasing a wheel roller, which we talked about before too, but Bucky says, and Jenny said that there's money in the budget to do that on the equipment, so I'll let you know how that goes if we need anything additional on that. Anything for me?
Any questions for Tim?
Well, speaking for the commissioners, Mr. Pratt, I hate to say nice things about you, but
Oh, yeah?
they can record it and hold it against
Yeah, we
you.
better have it not recorded,
Yeah.
shouldn't we? Yeah. Could
But
be misquoted by the paper.
No, I know, I'm sure you did this right, okay? Reluctantly said that, we just want you know we appreciate you. It's been, I think it's been a good relationship the last several years, and we get along fine. We don't always agree, and I understand that, and that's why there's all this number of us here. But I think that you've done a good job. I think you've represented the people of Parke County well, and I just want you to know we appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with the commissioners, and yeah, we know we each have our roles, and we've always kind of pretty much stuck to them, and it's been good overall. It's been enjoyable, but it's time for me to move on, and you get to work with a lot of great people over the years, and a lot of talented people, and certainly you're one of them.
Well, it's
And it's just that it's time for me to move on. And
always
new
been a-
ideas. It's time for new ideas and new thinking.
Yep. And it's always been a professional level thing. It's there's never a personal disagreement. It was always, you'd have your reasons for one way, and I'd have my reasons for another way, and we would come in the middle
Oh,
someday.
yeah. It's been good.
It has been good. I appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
I won't miss you a bit, but I'm.
Okay. Well, especially when I'm gone, that's what they always say. You know? Right. Sheriff?
Currently, we have 64 inmates we're holding. 10 of them are Vigo County, 2 DOC. I'd like to keep the Vigo County around 10 to 15. And with that being said, inmate billing was $242,953, which is what we get paid for DOC and the out-of-county holds. That's all I have.
Any questions for Sheriff? Okay. Treasurer?
Good, good.
Get all the taxes collected, did we?
Yeah,
Good, good,
now we're working on settlement.
good deal. Judge?
Good morning.
Morning.
The executive of the county, being Mr. Meese, kind of stole some of my thunder there. Yeah, I noticed earlier this week that this was going to be the last council meeting of the year, and that it was going to be your last council meeting. So I just wanted to say what he said. Basically, I appreciate working with you. We haven't always agreed on everything, but I've known you since high school. You're a great guy then, a great guy now. Vigorous advocate for the taxpayers for sure, and sometimes I always thought maybe a little too vigorous, but I know that you've always had Parke County's best interests at heart and always been a professional, and even when we've disagreed, we've always been cordial with one another, so I appreciate your service.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's been great to work with you guys, and, it's always kind of look at the roadmap, and we don't always, maybe, it's a different road maybe taking, but we always want what's best.
Well, that's the way, our government is designed, to have checks and balances, and conflicts are built in it.
And I think we do pretty well. I mean, when I look at what, especially the feds do, why, it's no wonder that we're dysfunctional. So what we do here in Parke County is certainly.
Just looking at other counties too, I think we get along very well compared to a lot of others.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming. And I'm sure I'll see you again sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Probably later today.
Probably later today.
Okay.
Right. Stacy?
Yes. Let me pull it up on my phone. So you'll be getting a document sent to you all in the mail, and it's our annual report. So it goes through this in more detail, but I just wanted to share that over our last fiscal year, we served 424 unduplicated clients. 107 of those were under the age of 17. 287 fell between the ages of 18 to 64, and 30 were 65 and older. Of those, 380 or 90% fell 200% of poverty or below, so those really low income families. We served 216 inpatient hospitalization days for Parke County consumers. We provided $531 of charity care, so completely free services to individuals. We also provided 72 hours to North Central Park free, no charge to that school or those students. And we currently employ 10 Parke County residents through Hamilton Center, so wanted to share that.
Good, thank you. Bill?
Have an opioid funding application
For drug test kits? Guess you're subbing for Stephanie, is that
Yeah.
right, or?
No, she's not feeling well.
Okay.
These will be used to identify drugs used and give the court the ability to prosecute crimes for drugs as well as assign appropriate drug treatment programs, purchase drug tests. Identification kits will be used to identify drugs for criminal prosecution. It's $628.97. And toward the back of that, you'll see like different drug tests that can be purchased with that money so that we can identify what drugs we come in contact with.
Is this an annual request?
This is my first request for this.
Yeah.
And this is all that, that settlement money, and, they have to, first thing they have to do is go through, the commissioners control that, and then they have to come, we mandated they come here because we don't appropriate it until they come along with something.
So I assume you have commissioner approval
Yeah.
for this, so the commissioners have signed off, so then we just need to.
Well, we have an additional that I've already, some of you have said that we have to deny all the additionals today because of the publishing error.
This is a local control one, though. You didn't get by with that.
No, because we're gonna do a whole bunch of them on the 30th anyway.
Okay, so we're doing.
So we're just gonna punt it back to the 30th. There's going to be more added
Oh,
into
it's
it
on
because
here.
there's something that went through without us approving it, and I don't know what that is off the top of my head right now. But more or less what we're saying is our approval is through the additional, but we can certainly tell them, as we have in the past, that we're gonna be okay with it and so on. But we will not approve anything officially today for it.
We didn't get advertised in time.
Do I need to come back on the 30th?
Are you guys all right with, you guys are all right with this, aren't we? Okay. The paperwork will catch up when we act on it on the 30th, so we're fine with it.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for coming. We're fine.
If it was just that, we would
Okay.
shortcut it, but we've got a long list of other ones, so we just will put it in with them.
Make sure we get it done on the 30th, so, okay. Chester, your public comments?
Oh, I've got two. I'd like to, since you guys appropriate the money, not to fund the Bridge Festival of Bridgeton until there is a honest meeting. The last 2 years, 4 people decide what goes on. We almost had a catastrophe down there where the lady had a heart attack trying to get her out of town. I think we need someone from the commissioners and somebody to represent the landowners to sit down and talk about how we should do this. Part of the problem was, after listening to all they had to say that day, was they go around, they put a blue line out, which is great. You know, this is far you should go. But then if you're a vendor and selling food, and you get a line, you're blocking the road. And it was stated that people in the road were flipping the cops off, they were cussing them, they were cussing the ambulance service. There was no one manning any of the blockades to make this work good. And I really think that all the landowners down there that own property should have some kind of input instead of just 4 people. That's my feelings. I mean, you guys appropriate the money. And it would be a benefit that everybody knows what's going on. There is so many people that's coming, that older people, they're the ones that spend the money. They need to know where the closest parking lots downtown is, the easiest way to get around the road blocks and stuff. And the brochures they pass out are so outdated, these people don't know anything. That's my feeling. My other one is, I just listened about the roads. You appropriate money for the roads. I understand how you feel about it. We gotta do things right. I never have heard one word of any roads in my area getting attended to out of this appropriation. Okay, I watched, now this, I brought it up before. There's Angle Road. It's 1 mile and 3/10. Okay, I watched 2 county trucks for 2 days solid patching these holes on that road, and that's the only stretch between there and the Rio Grande that's not been paved. It's right here, and that's 4 people, 2 trucks tied up, and the road's just as bad as it was when they got done. They just patched over the patch over the patch. I think the county ought to be able to do something. They ought to be able to do something with that piece of road.
Okay.
Okay, that was my comments,
All right, thank you very much.
and happy retirement.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
I retired once, it ain't no fun.
Well, I'm still gonna get up and go to my real job every day, so, yeah.
Okay,
Anybody else, Matt, do you have anything? No? Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes for the November meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from November 14th, 2024.
Second.
Motion been made and second, approve the minutes, all in favor? Okay, so all the additionals we're gonna just table, is that what you want?
No,
Or you
we're
just wanted to reject them?
We're just gonna reject them because some of them are gonna change, so let's just briefly talk through that. We need to reject, we tabled a joint one back in August. In the process of working through getting an invoice for the commissioners for the ARP obligation, I further proposed to joint that we would pay based upon when they actually turn circuits on. They are still building, it is behind schedule, they expect to have it done by March, end of March, but the invoice is dated June. So with that being said, we need to get that off of the docket. It needs to go away. They know that's not getting paid, and they have since submitted another one that is on the other list of additionals that we would also deny. It will not show back up on the one for the 30th.
Roy, on the invoice that we're gonna get, you want me to note on there that they, because we don't have to pay till 2026, we have to be obligated by this year. You want us to put on there that they will be paid as circuits are live online?
No, just that we owe them $936,000, and that's what the bill was for. I would just leave it at that. It's really between, it's a discussion between the bodies, the players on when they actually get paid. We went on and on here on this subject and here, trying to decide whether or not to pay them, and when they have not communicated, and the guy that was running, Josh Turner, who was running Joint, is no longer running it. They have a new person running it who has been far more responsive, we'll say, and he thought that that was a perfect way to hold them accountable to get the funds that we provide, or we obligated to them. So, my recommendation is that we deny all of them. Any of these that are going to be legitimate are on the 30th list that we'll publish next Wednesday. Okay?
Okay, so we'll need a motion to deny the additional appropriation.
That motion?
Motion been made, second, to deny all the additional appropriation requests, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on, we have reappropriation of funds.
Transfers.
Oh, I'm sorry, transfers.
There's a list in your packet. These are the accounts that have gone into the red. At year end, which I guess happened, these will be processed today after the meeting.
that will address a lot of them. There's 2 resolutions will address some more, but these are the ones that you can address this way. If there was any of these particular notes that I wanted to. There's a payroll one in the sheriff's department, jail officers, that was short significantly. We found out a couple of things. Number one was that it wasn't entirely encumbered last year, or at the beginning of this year, so it got shorted in the encumbrance. And the second thing is there was an error submitted by the matron on a transfer for cooks and stuff that basically we put the wrong number on and pulled more money out of that line to deal with the transfer there that we did a couple, 3 months ago. All the rest of it's just various different things. Some of them I don't even know what yeah, there's 4-cent one in there. I mean, that's it. That's what it is. We ran the in-red report yesterday and started working on it.
Motion to approve the transfer.
Motion been made, second to approve the transfers, all in favor? Aye. Now let's try the reappropriation.
First one's $9,000 to the sheriff's department. They want to use it to outfit the new Tahoe. And the funds have been received for items that they sold.
Three cars.
3 cars. The second one is from Julie, and it has to do with the fire that was in 22. And she's requesting $5,418.16.
The other one is, the middle one, is inmate meals for refunds back from U.S. Foods that need to be reappropriated back to one.
Is the 9,000, is that a reappropriation?
That marked as an additional.
I guess you can look at it.
Yeah, it could be, because if you, for the sake of argument here, if you traded them in at that exact amount, you would have lowered the cost, so.
It doesn't matter to me, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, I know, it's
fine.
kind of strange, but
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't think
I'm not
that'll,
holding it for that.
I don't think it'll raise any flags.
Okay.
So.
Questions on your reappropriations? Motion been made, second to reappropriate funds, all in favor? Pay the jury. Motion been made, second to pay the jury, all in favor? Monthly reports. Have ambulance service report, I think it's in there. Or is it in there? It's in there from Julie.
Tim Yoakum and Julie and I are going to meet just for an update on the arrangement, how it's working at the time. Do you guys have any questions you need to carry to Remain County on that? Any concerns?
Have any concerns?
I've been kept in the loop on that somewhat, so I do know that at this point there, and I don't remember the number, the projection that there's going to be a shortfall. It is something we may have to deal with and on the 30th as far as an interfund loan to get the loan or the fund right size. But that number's been provided for million that they will owe that much more. See, don't quote this by any stretch, but somewhere I thought around 19,000 or something.
That's, I think so too.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, and we were always confirmed that they would make that part of it.
Yeah, and there was a question asked to me of whether or not to, you could, it all depended on when you apply the last payroll and I think and some things, and it could be a bigger number or the smaller one, and I said, well, realistic, use the one that's reality, regardless of when the money gets spent. So when we get past Christmas and get close to one transfer if we have to. For the 30th.
Okay.
Those breakfast, 19.
No, Friday
Friday
morning.
morning.
The rest of the council, I've encouraged to go, you'll learn a lot.
Okay, monthly reports, redevelopment,
Did not meet.
courthouse security did not meet, planning commission.
We met with some violations and decided we're gonna contract out the comprehensive plan. And the commissioners graciously agreed to fund it through the ARP money. So
Yeah.
they get that contracted out. We're way overdue on a rehab on the comprehensive plan. That was the main gist of me.
Beth seems to be doing a nice job. She's gonna be more aggressive, I think, with some of these
She's
violators.
making enemies, and that's good.
No, it's not a, it's not a popular
Hard to
job.
see that one.
It's not a popular job.
No, it's not, but.
Having one of those dumps right next to me, and I mean, it just gets worse every day.
No, she's doing a fine job. She's very, very aggressive, which is, that's fine.
Solid waste,
Did not meet.
new business.
Okay, so as part of year-end cleanup business, we have a couple resolutions here. 2024-07 is a general fund resolution to transfer for out of cross-department transfers. The proposal is in the resolution is to transfer from group insurance $9,760 to field supervisor's line and ambulance service, $2,075.82 to the veteran service officer extra clerical. That is another one that did not get encumbered correctly last year. Now this year, whatever you want to call it, carried into 24. Operating supplies for courthouse, $154.23. General courthouse building maintenance, $7,251.47, and part-time EMTs, $41,500. That is 2024-07. 2024-08 is for the highway department, and it is moving $8,214.50 from the truck driver's line to the supervisor line, which is across department in the highway fund. It was an expectation that the supervisor line would be short because of the line was adopted at the original salary, and then there was a salary amendment, and then we paid Mike Wood out of that for his time he served the first time, and then
We did get him paid.
That dealt with.
Questions?
Motion to approve. Appropriation. Resolution.
Motion been made, second, that's for both resolutions, I assume. For resolutions 07 and 08, all in favor? Salary ordinance amendment?
Yeah, and part of this exercise yesterday of dealing with those resolutions and additionals for the 30th and transfers that we've already adopted, I found that I had made another error on the salary ordinance regarding the pay dates of when the first and last pay is of a year. So the original line said salaries are to be paid on a bi-weekly basis, continuing for 26 installments over the calendar year. First payment of the calendar year, January 8, 2025, shall be the final payment for the prior budget year. The second payment for the calendar year, January 22, 2025, shall be the first payment for the current budget year. That is not correct. What is correct is salaries are to be paid on a bi-weekly basis, continuing for 26 installments over the calendar year. The December 30th, 2024 payment shall be the final payment for the prior budget year. January 13th, 2025 payment shall be the first payment for the current budget year. And that needs to be corrected and published.
We need to adopt that then.
We need to adopt that.
Okay.
That does not require signatures or anything, or at least it never has. So.
Recommendation to approve the amendment to the 25 salary ordinance.
Motion been made second to approve the salary ordinance amendment. All in favor? In your package, you have a reappointment request, which I'm sure you all will deal with in January. We will be, as we've heard, meeting December 30th, 9 a.m. here to deal with those additionals and any other last minute things that might come up.
And I don't know what all that'll be at this point. I do know that we have a group of additionals.
Okay. All right. Anything else? We done?
No, we're not done. Not done.
Don't get down here,
Okay, so I'll lead off this. Today's the end of an era. In the last 24 years, there has not been a Parke County Council meeting held where John Pratt was not in attendance. 24 years, never missed a meeting. I think there's too many people that can say something like that. I think you would agree that a lot of things have changed in that period of time. We served with a lot of different people, whether it's council members, commissioners, other elected officials, department heads. Through his leadership, the county government has always maintained a strong fiscal position and improved many services to the citizens of the county. I think we could all agree to that. On a personal note, John has been a mentor to me in my elected capacities. He has been a mentor to many others as well, but I think it's fair to say that I probably wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for him. John's involvement in the community has spanned many facets. He served on the fair board with a term as its president, served 2 terms on the Rockville School Board, long served as precinct committeeman and treasurer for the county party. Continues to serve on the board of trustees for Indiana State University. Vice president of that, right? Yep. I'm sure his involvement in the community is not over either. From all of us on the council, I wish to thank John for his years of service to the citizens of Parke County. We further wish to thank him for his leadership and guidance to this group. And finally, we wish you, Elise, and Wesley well in the next chapter. In recognition, the council would like to present you with a plaque and another token of appreciation for your years of service as well.
As I stated, as we're talking to Jim, why I've worked with many great, talented elected officials, department heads over the last 24 years. Certainly things have changed from the days of when Dale Garish and George Nicholas and others were basically running the county, and I think we've come a long way in the county government where I think we're more efficient. Certainly the budgeting has become much easier than when we went through it line by line, and it was just much of the budget was done completely by hand then. So I think that we have made a lot of improvements. Of course, probably highlights for me were the courthouse projects, the dome. I mean, it's such a great building that we don't want to sit here and let it fall down. It's historic and one of, in my mind, one of the top 5 courthouses in the state of Indiana. There are many others, and I won't go on, but that was probably a highlight. The visit with Indiana Supreme Court I thought was really neat for Parke County. I mean, just the day-to-day, get some road blacktop. I mean, I wish we could do so much more, but money is always a limiting factor. It's been great to work with all of you. You meet a lot of great people. I mean, people that I would have never gotten to know like I have doing this job, and not only here in Parke County, but others. And so it's, I'm ready for Matt to take my place, and you're in good hands, and I'm sure that you'll be just fine. I'll always be available. I'm sure if you want my input, well, all you have to do is ask. So other than that, well, I thank you very much, and I think we're wrap it up.